Welcome to Mudwalkers. Let me try that again. Welcome to Mudwalkers. As you can see from the thumbnail and the title of this video is about a knife, but not just any knife, and it's not a knife review, it's a story. I'll tell you about the knife in just a second, but first I'm going to give you some backstory. I was a very skinny, weak, underconfident, awkward teenager. Glasses, braces, the whole 9 yards. Socially awkward, everything. And I didn't feel equipped to protect myself, so I did something very tactically unsound, and I bought a knife. Because obviously, if I'm weak and slow, then it's impossible to disarm me in a hand-to-hand situation. I didn't think it through very well, but that's the story. That's why I got it. But then I got to thinking about, okay, I don't just want to protect myself in martial terms, I also want to keep myself safe in survival terms. What if I break down in my car in the middle of nowhere? Can I actually, like, make it for the night? So I started learning about survival, and then that got me into what they call bushcraft, which is, a lot of people refer to it as, like, woods survival and things like that, but bushcraft is very different. Survival is about how to not die and get back to civilization. Bushcraft is about going out and camping in the wilderness and feeling at home. And just chilling out there. Bushcraft. So, that got me into bushcraft. You know, I studied how to use my knife looked at how to use my knife to fight, then I looked at how to use my knife for survival, then I looked at how to use my knife for bushcraft, and then bushcraft got me really interested in wilderness camping, which got me into wild foods. And then the wild food journey, you know, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen me eat all kinds of stuff. But then that got me to a podcast called Rewild Yourself by Daniel Vitalis. Now, the podcast is discontinued, but it is totally worth a listen. Go listen to it. I can't remember if I liked every episode. I probably didn't. There's a lot of good stuff in there. That podcast didn't just further my thought processes on wild foods. It opened my mind to, like, bigger rewilding concepts. So this knife kind of led me into rewilding in its own weird little way. And by the way, it's not just any Recon Tanto, it's the 13 RTK. I know, I looked it up. Okay, well, what does that mean? The name of the model is the same, but year to year, sometimes they have different versions of that model that they release, and those get different codes. The code for this particular run, this particular batch, was 13 RTK. And the reason that's important is because the Recon Tantos are pretty much always hollow ground now. You can look that up, a hollow grind knife. It's very different from a saber grind knife. Saber grind knives you can convex, but hollow grind knives you can't really convex without basically destroying or seriously modifying the knife. And I like the Recon Tanto as it is, so I prefer the saber grind, so it's the 13 RTK. I have much better knives than this now, in terms of quality. I have one right here, actually, on my belt. This is the Cold Steel SRK in focus in CPM 3V. As you can see, I've put a little bit of a mirror polish on it. Hello, camera. But this is a much better knife overall in terms of its quality for actual use. CPM 3V is a phenomenal steel for knives. It's my favorite knife steel currently. But I bought several other knives inspired by this one as well. So this one has been completely phased out of use. It's kind of useless to me now on a practical level. I don't use it anymore, but I've kept it and I display it because this knife is a reminder of where I came from and how I got here. This knife is kind of the start of this whole channel. This knife made me a Mudwalker. If you stop and think about it, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, that's a little story on how a knife made me into a Mudwalker. With that, this video is almost over, so I think you know what time it is. This video is brought to you by Pablo, Edward, John, Skating Aimlessly, Joseph, Charlie, Lionheart, Liam, Harry, Jesse, Max, Adam, Edward, Nate, C. Berryman, Shane, Jay, Sean, I think, S-I-O-N, and Reese. Some critters running around in the woods. Imagine that. Cool. I can't thank you guys enough for your support on Patreon. You're making this channel possible. You're making my work sustainable. So I appreciate so much everything that you're doing for the channel over on Patreon. If you're not already a Patreon member, check out the link in the description. You can check out our tiers. We have a $5 tier and a $10 tier, super affordable. The $10 tier also gets both tiers get early access to my videos, and the $10 tier gets access to a monthly Zoom conversation with me and the other patrons. The conversation is not meant to be another time for me to just talk and talk and talk. It's a time for us to collaborate and share stories and swap ideas and hang out. So I'm super excited about that. We had a great Patreon hangout last month, and I can't wait for this one. With that, that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.